Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's FalconPaladin coming to you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a very special FalconPaladin compilation. It's going to be 3 games played by me recently. I've been laddering a lot recently, more than, well, but not laddering a lot compared to the last 3 years. 2015 I started casting StarCraft. And my laddering fell off, but I figured I would make time for laddering recently, and it's been a lot of fun. Bottom right-hand corner of this is the purple Protoss player. It is Ellie Corn. And in the top left-hand corner, it is the yellow Zerg player, FalconPaladin. Both from the FalPal clan with a fancy spinning logo. Look at that. Look how fancy that is. Thanks for Alchemist and Draft making that happen in the Discord. But this was part of the Discord King of the Hill tournament, played with several people in the Discord server. And this was a bit of a loser's match here. I'd lost a match, Ellie had lost a match here, and so we decided we were going to play ours on stream. So this was actually on Twitch at twitch.tv/FalconPaladin. And it was kind of stressful. I really hate casting my own games live. I stopped talking because I'm really stressed about what's going on. And that happened here, too, if you want to go back and watch. It's still on the VODs at twitch.tv/FalconPaladin. We have a drone scout. You see, there's nothing too crazy going on here. It is Abyssal Reef, by the way, which we haven't seen forever. It was removed from the map pool, but I like it. It has a lot of good memories for me. Drone decides to go home. Probe here attacking. Does he get a drone kill? He gets a drone kill. I'm too busy doing stuff on the other side of the map. The probe's like, wait, what? How? I shouldn't have gotten that kill. And you are correct, Probe. That should not have happened. I was not paying attention at all. Look at him just hanging out. He's like, I'm one of you. I am one of you. Thank you very, very much. Pool about done here. I went for a 17, 17, 17. And there we go. This one I actually pay attention to. Get a surround on the probe and kill it, which I understand is not super ideal. You won't see the pros do that, but I think it's okay. I think it's totally fine at this stage. Got a Zealot out, walling off very nicely. He remembers how to play on this map. Ellie's been here for a while. Double gateway opening, which I scouted and kind of prepared for. Said, all right, this could be a bit of a 4-gate. This could be some early Zealot pressure out of my Protoss opponent. So I was like, I won't go for a quick third here. I feel like my natural should be enough to hold anything that's going on. Look at this fish sliding around on the ground. Oh, back into that tire, and he gone. He is a gone fish now. And not even expanding behind it. Goes quick for a Stargate. What a weird, weird build. Overlord comes in and says, all right, so we're making some units here. There is a Cybernetics core now. There is a Zealot. It's time to get out. This could definitely be a Stalker popping out of here. It's time to run. And then Ellie going to go for an expansion here, too. So I'm on 2 bases. I'm kind of prepared for some kind of a crazy all-in attack that we're seeing. But Ellie is expanding behind it, so it's not as all-in as I worried it would be. I did keep the workers on gas here. I'm starting to float a little bit of money, so I was like, you know what? If he's not here yet, I'm going to go ahead and expand. So I'm going to expand over to there to my 3rd base location. Meanwhile, the Adepts are heading up, and my Lings just caught that. They just caught a glimpse of some purple heading up to the left here. So they're going to go ahead and try to follow these Adepts around. I'm going to make about 8 more Zerglings. Not Paniclings necessarily, just enough. 4 Lings is not enough. That's what I had at this point of the game. Even if they did have speed, it was not enough. So 8 Lings popping out now. And the Adepts are not here. And I'm like, I feel like the Adepts should be here. Where are the Adepts? They took a bit of a break there. Bit of a breather. And there they are. Okay, so now I get the surround and the Queen DPS. And neither Adept even makes it up the ramp before they're killed. It is an Oracle opening, though, from Ellie here. It is Hal Jordan, a test pilot for the U.S. Air Force. Hal Jordan found a crashed alien spaceship with a dying alien inside. The alien told him to take the power the alien device possessed. Hal Jordan is the mind, in his mind, expected to get a ring that would give him as much power as his willpower could muster, unless the thing is yellow. But instead, Hal got the power to harass work lines, create stasis wards, and show the location of the enemy. At least Hal is thankful he is not in the Ryan Reynolds film. Brutal. Brutal. Ugh. All right, so here comes the Reaper, and there's already a Phoenix out here, too. He's doing the Showtime play, where he's going to lift my Queen and murder my drones. So I do catch wind of this eventually. The reaction time for the murdering isn't as fast as it should have been. Still, 3, 4. I run for it, and then here's the Queen. Queen versus Oracle. Double Queen pops out. And lifting the one. Running out of energy a little bit? No, not actually doing that at all. Oracle comes over here to try to do some more stuff and does get picked off there. Hal Jordan is dead. And the Phoenix is just flying on out here too. Maybe trying to kill a couple Overlords before he gets absolutely brutally murdered. Alright, so that was pretty good. Pretty good harass. 5 drones went down, but in exchange for an Oracle and a Phoenix, which is maybe not as ideal. There's another Oracle sitting out here. Look at that hot skin, by the way. We didn't have time to look at it before, but man, that is pretty. Really, really like that. So natural base is done for Ellie. Third base is up for me here. 31 to 34 total harvesters here, about the 5-minute mark. I'm going for glial reconstitution. I'm feeling like I don't really want to get into a super long macro game versus a Protoss because I'm still a little bit uncertain of my own ability to handle a giant Protoss death ball. I know that other players can do it. I understand that flank attacks are a thing. I understand that Blinding Cloud is really good too. I understand storm dodging is a way to do things, but just not something I've been comfortable with recently, especially. Void Ray pops out. Look at the skin on that Void Ray. That is nice. I don't know what the name of it is. Stalker has the same one here, though. Oracle coming in and actually trying to get a Stasis Ward down. Cancels it as he's getting shot at by a Queen here. I do have Spore Crawlers in production in all 3 of my mineral lines here. And again, that Glial Reconstitution is basically what I'm working on right now. I'm worried about that Oracle coming back in and a Murdering Marie. Creep spread looking okay. It's a little bit abandoned at this stage of the game. We have an Observer on the way here. And just a bunch of Zealots here. It's very difficult to break this wall. Look how incredibly walled off this is. This is not getting Baneling busted, which is something I've liked to do against Protoss from time to time in my latter adventures. Where'd my Queen go? Get an inject off, Queen. Come on. This base could use an inject. Don't mind me. There it is. Pop. There's the inject. Zealots heading up. Charge is on the way for them, but it's not done yet. So they're going to take the slow, hoofy way up to the north here. Hoop, 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 hoop. We've got our roaches out. Just now starting to build a bunch of roaches. I'm sitting at about 45 workers, which is where I want to be. I start moving out when suddenly I hear the alert that my base is under attack at the natural. So it's time to turn around. First of all, the Queen dies immediately to these 4 Zealots. 3 Zealots. I'm ring around the Rosying here, trying to keep my drones alive, and yeah, these guys are toast. They are getting surrounded by all manner of roach. I brought the whole army back for a couple Zealots. That's something that I tell people not to do, but it's hard to remember that in the heat of the battle. Continuing to bring roaches on down. I'm going to rally just outside the front door of where Ellie is set up here, and I'm sitting on some decent number of resources, so I do decide to toss down some Ravagers here, also making about 4 Overlords to make sure I don't get supply blocked. Meanwhile, it's going to be Immortals. Immortal production has begun for Ellie here. He is warping in at Templar Archives, as he knows that Storm is incredibly important too. And an Observer is moving out to scout this stuff. Ravagers popping, looking fairly mighty and fairly beefy. And aside, here comes the attack. I'm feeling really good about this one here. And here we go. Zealots at the front. Corrosive Biles trying to hit that Void Ray, but missing actually. I think that would have actually killed the Void, which is a big problem in the battle to come. At this stage, anyway, can we get it? Corrosive Biles. Now they do hit it, but not enough Biles to actually finishing it off. We're letting these Zealots sit here. Finally, the Void Ray dies. The Oracle at the top is trying to get rid of these dudes too. The Immortals on the high ground actually doing some work as that Carapace and that Carcass falls right on down. And that's where I recognize, okay, there's a lot of Immortal out. There's 3 Immortals out already. I show some Lings, and I just do try to put a bit of a run by into the main base, at least trying to keep the Protoss player busy with Zerglings inside his main. So I'm killing a couple of these probes. Some Zealots warp in. 7 probes go down fairly quickly there. 8 of them. 9 of them, but the Zealots managed to make sure that doesn't happen. More Zerglings in production. I recognize this is an Immortal heavy composition, which means that Zerglings are going to be pretty good in the situation. The problem is the Zealots are here. I have no upgrades on my Lings. I don't even have an Evolution Chamber at all. I have no upgrades on anything. I'm running 0-0 all the way across the board here. It's 107 and 91 supply. I've got a bit of a lead. But again, the Zerglings on top of the Zealots is exactly what Ellie wants. I tried to do a bit of a wraparound to try to stop this retreat from happening, and I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I'm trying to Corrosive Bile down on top of these Immortals, but 3 more Immortals show up. The Zealots doing a pretty good amount of work here. The Roaches are useless, and I only have 3 Ravagers remaining. So Ellie handles this. It's a very close battle, though. I mean, by very close, I mean there are 3 Immortals remaining, as well as a High Templar. Look at that skin. What is this? I need to know what this is. Somebody in the comments tell me what's going on. Because I don't know. 34 Zerglings in production, recognizing, okay, all right, if all he has are Immortals here, I feel like Zerglings are going to be pretty good. At one point, I'll figure out that upgrades might be kind of important, but third base happily running here. I'm starting to float a ton of money, so I want to expand twice up the right side. Meanwhile, who's pushing out is Ellie. He's feeling pretty confident about his situation right now. He's got Storm. It's done. He's got Immortals. I got Ling Ravager, which seems like a pretty good composition for what we're dealing with right now. Zergling checking to see, is there a third base down here? No, but it's over here. It is, in fact, over here. And to get there, you got to go up and around, and you're going to run into this army pretty much by accident. I decided to go for it. I tried to decide to go for that surround again. Barrier activates. Try to get Corrosive Biles. The Storms I'm kind of just eating. One Immortal is down. The Zergling's doing a ton of good work. Archon comes to the backside. All the Immortals are dead. The Archon is dead. Zergling's trying to get rid of this Immortal, but the Oracle is a major problem. 16 kills on that. Some Zealots come up, and the Immortal does manage to survive with 3 total kills. So again, a very close battle. Once again, this has been a fairly back and forth type situation. The good news is I'm double expanding. The good news is I'm making 20 more Zerglings because I'm really afraid of that attack coming across the map here. The Zealots are sitting on... Oh, they don't have +1/+1. They're just getting started now. Do I have any Evolution Chambers? Fair viewer? No. No, Falcon doesn't believe in upgrades in this game. I don't know what happened. Maybe because I was playing on stream and I just mind farted. But, again, I'd like to point out I have 2 additional expansions. This Nexus for the third base is just about done too. There's the warp in. So we're 3 base, it's technically 5 base, but it's 38 to 46 harvesters. I do not have the worker count that I need to here. I used drones to build this stuff and didn't replace them. There we go. 8 replacement drones on the way, sitting at about 700 workers. My army supply is back up again. It is now currently 2,600 compared to 4,500. And yeah, Zealots here versus my Lings, it's just not going to go well. Not going to go well for me at all. I try to hold this high ground, but Ellie doesn't take the bait. Too smart for that. Decides to pull on back. Continue to make those Immortals. Wait on that +1/+1. Spending his money exceptionally well. 28 Lings in production. And saturating these bases a little tiny bit. A little tiny bit of saturation on my 4th and my 5th bases here. This attack pushing up. I don't think it's... Yeah, Zealots trying to get a bit of a run by. Just basically donate themselves to my army. This Roach, I think, is on a bad rally. I'm not sure where it was going. I decide, in order to check if there's a third base here, because I don't know that it exists, and he doesn't know these exist either, I decided to come on through, but guess who's in position perfectly here? Ellie's been a great job to being in position. Trying to pick off that High Templar, and here we go. Another great Storm all over my Roaches and my Ravagers. I just eat that one. I'm feeling pretty good about the situation. Archon down. Corrosive Biles hitting my own stuff. Yeah, nice dodge. Nice dodge there from Ellie for sure. Ravagers at the top. Roaches are just getting absolutely obliterated. 8 and 6 kills on those Immortals before they go down. Some Zealots coming on the right side. Some panic warping Zealots making stuff happen here. Immortal down. Probes here to fight too. I'm making 54 Zerglings trying to end this thing now. But Zealots warping, I mean, all of my Ravagers die. These are +1/+1 Zealots, so my Zerglings with no upgrades are not going to do anything in this situation. They try to go ahead and get a surround, possibly on that Immortal. I mean, this is, right, you're feeling pretty good about this as a Zerg, but then you look at the Zealots and you're like, oh. And this Hero Oracle is absolutely saving the day for Ellie. He's got 31 kills. All my Lings finally die. 39 kill Oracle. This goes in the Oracle Hall of Fame. It's not Hal Jordan. It's the second one. But still. So we're looking at 77 to 66 supply. Both players have taken some serious lumps. Some serious lumps in their time here. 12,000 resources lost for Ellie compared to 12,000 for me. So pretty even. I have my extra bases. I'm feeling pretty comfortable about that. I'm going back into Roach, recognizing if there's a lot of Zealots, Roach is going to be okay. And then I throw down a Spire. Here at the 14-minute mark, I decide, okay, my gas income is pretty sweet. I've gone ahead and saturated all of my gas geysers. I've got 8 of them right now. Actually, 10 of them. 10 gas geysers. Nope, just kidding. I haven't taken these ones yet. It is 8. Minus that one, so it's 9. It's 9, and I recognize my gas income is going to be pretty good. Mutatech switch might be pretty amazing if all he's got here are Zealots and Immortals and maybe a couple Archons. Another big Ravager thing. Again, Ravagers worth their weight in gold here just because Ravagers do so well against Immortals as compared to Roaches, which do horrifically against Immortals. We do have a Zealot attack up here at my 4th base that Ellie just discovered. Did I bleed him to this one? Well, he found it. He found it anyway. So 12 drones going down. Just brutal stuff. I do Corrosive Bile down to the Warp Prism before it can retreat and save those guys. That was a pretty nice pickup for me there. 132 to 93 supply. I am up. I'm looking okay, making 18 drones. Okay, so this is where I finally decide economy is a good thing at about the 15-minute mark. I say, let's do this thing. Let's go ahead and try to get an economy up. However, big old Zealot, High Templar, Archon army coming on in to my 5th base location. I try to run the drones. Some of them actually escape, and by some I mean 3. 8 of them, well, just kidding, 2. 2 of them managed to escape there. I'm coming in from different directions, trying to Corrosive Bile down these. I do Corrosive Bile down the High Templar fairly well. But the Zealots, man. The Zealots are just absorbing so many shots. Full retreat right now. Archon does not manage to get finished. I'm trying to kite as best I can against these Zealots. I almost need Bailings in this situation here. Yeah, look at these Zealots refusing to die. They're doing so well. They've got just the +1/+1, but against my 0/0, it makes a difference. 39 kill Oracle just flying overhead, trying to see what he can do. And suddenly, it is really looking bad. I am making 10 Mutalisks right now, though. I say, all right, enough is enough. I can't beat this with ground. I decide to go to the air, again, recognizing the heavy Immortal Zealot play that we're dealing with here out of Ellie. 3rd base, done. 4th base, trying to get in here. And I did save my 5th, technically, though there's nothing actually going on with it right now. And I do have 59 Harvesters, which I am fairly pleased with at this stage of the game. So 52 Lings in production with 10 Mutalisks. I decide the Mutas aren't going to necessarily be a forward attacking resource here just because these Archons do have +1/+1 and are pretty scary dudes. 5th base down instantly. Flying into the natural base, and who didn't protect their probe line but Ellie? Losing a bunch of probes here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All the probes on gas. Not recalling in to save this thing. Surprisingly enough, there were a couple times Ellie could have recalled and he didn't. I'm not sure why that necessarily is. These probes gonna die. The army trying to deal with this, so I just go ahead and abuse it and flying over to this mineral line. And dodge the storms, and actually a lot of his probes eat those storms. Try to get rid of these guys who are long distance mining. Again, if the Mutas are moving, the Mutas are good. They're like Phoenix that way. Again, another storm on his own probes. Yeah, scary stuff for sure. 145 to 91 supply. I've got 62 more Lings on the way. Do I have upgrades? Absolutely not. These Lings are 0/0 Lings, and they will proudly stay 0/0 Lings until the day that they die. Zerglings cruising on in. We decide, where do we want to go? Main base seems like a good place to be. This is where a lot of production lives. These robotics facilities, these gateways, these warp gates, star gates, etc. Ellie says, base race time, fool, and decides to head on north with a pretty scary Protoss army that I'm not sure I can engage directly with my unupgraded Lings and Mutas. So base race time it is. I send more Lings down to take down this 4th. His production is going to be nil very, very shortly. 156 to 83 supply, 54 to 17 Harvesters. His main base is going to be a graveyard in just a couple of minutes here. However, that hatchery died very quick. And now this one's going to die too. I don't have the presence of mind, unfortunately, to actually send some drones out and build hatcheries elsewhere, but I don't know. I guess I do kill these probes that are running, and I don't notice this is up. I should have kept going along that trajectory, but I don't. So army supply right now is 5,200 for Ellie compared to 6,500 for me. But again, the compositional choices are just so much better for him. If I attack with the Lings, they will die to a Zealot Archon type style here. The Archons will do well against the Mutas. How many Mutas do I have? 16? 16 Mutas versus 3 Archons with +1/+1. I just don't want to risk it. I really don't want to risk it at all. So main base, natural base are like there was never a Protoss here at all. And all that's left here is this 3rd. A recall home would be pretty great here again, but Ellie, I don't know if he just isn't thinking about the possibilities. Oh, where are these Mutas and why are they hanging out here? I don't know, I guess they did delay the base race a little bit, so good job by you guys. 3rd base, done. Natural base of Falcon, done. I mean, all of these poor drones. I'm down to 13 drones somehow. Where do I... Oh, they were all on that one mineral patch. Never mind, I have 3. I have 3 of them. Overlord's actually kind of slowing down this attack too, so third base is done. I'm checking along this right side. He's not being revealed, so I know he's got a nexus somewhere, so I send lings out different locations trying to spot where the heck this guy's building is, because I still have an extractor here I'm feeling pretty safe about. My main base is not long for this world at all. Go broodlings, go and upgraded broodlings, make it happen, but I do manage to find his final nexus, and here go the lings and the mutas and a couple ravagers who have somehow survived this entire battle today. 96 to 61 supply. Ellie trying to do this thing before his final building dies. He doesn't know about this though until this very minute. He doesn't realize to send these zealots. He's trying to send these zealots down to kill it. Either way, the final nexus is under assault. Big time, and it's out, and that's going to be the end of the game. So Falcon does win that thing in 20 minutes and 47 seconds. Close one. Close one to be sure from both sides. Well played by Ellie. I mean, he's a gold player, technically, but he knows his Protoss, man. He knows his Protoss. He knows what to do. He knows to get Storm. He knows to get Archons. He's got upgrades. Its expansion patterns are good. He defended exceptionally well. And in the end, he almost got me. Almost got the Falcon, but couldn't quite pull it off there. Resources lost in the end, 28,000 compared to 28,000. Look how even this is. Look at this. Even matched for sure. But Mutiling wins the day. I kind of want to know what would have happened if I come over there and kind of magic boxed the Archons. Right? There were 3 of them remaining. Magic box these Mutalisks. I don't know. It was scary. I didn't want to do it. I base raced instead. All right. So game 2 of the Falcon Paladin hour. Not the podcast, but the cast. It's coming at you in just a second. All right. Game 2 of the Falcon compilation will be between Falcon Pally and Ghostwalker on Acid Plant, the latter edition. Bottom right-hand corner, the blue Zerg player. It is Falcon Pally from the Falpal clan. If you'd like to join the Falpal clan, you can. Just join the Discord server in the description, ask us nicely to add you to the clan, and we'll do it. Top left-hand corner, the red Protoss player. It is Ghostwalker from Rocket. Is that Team Rocket, like from Pokemon? Oh, that's fantastic. Look who's drone scouting. It's me! Drone scouting with a drone with minerals in his mouth for some reason. So weird. Such a weird dude, but I have no reason to think that there's anything crazy happening. So I'm going to go for the hatch first play at about, 17 supply. Meanwhile, Ghostwalker gonna forge first. Yeah, that's right. He gonna forge first on us. No big deal. We have a bit of a kiss exchange. See the probe coming down. Don't think much of it here. I am sending the other Overlord out, but Derp. Herbert Derp, man, you gotta send that second Overlord to watch this. I've talked about this. Man, ladder is hard, you guys. I've talked about doing this. I've talked about setting this here, but guess what? It wouldn't see this anyway. It is a cannon rush starting here, which I scout. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, okay, I guess if you want that, that's fine by me. I do send some drones out and say, no, I'm not okay with cannons, though. How about your cannon just dies? There's the cancel. Chasing the probe around. Oh, should have chased the probe. Why kill this? That's not a threat to you, Falcon. You're so dumb. Getting the spawning pool, pulling workers into gas here so I can have speed. And I see this one coming up and say, oh, wait. And I see this one. And this one, and this one. All right, Ghostwalker is really trying to make this thing happen. Cancels the one on the high ground. I'm not getting through that one. Only 4 drones can hit it, and it's already basically finished. So at this point, and he's doing this up here. This is as dedicated a cannon rush as I've ever seen in my entire life here. Can we get through? The answer is going to be no. I really should cancel this. I decide absolutely not. Canceling is for losers. I throw up a spine crawler on the high ground. Then I recognize there's 3 probes down here. There were 3 probes. Oh, go to work. I guess we'll just go to work then. There's cannons here. Oh, I'm so worried. I'm so worried about what's going on. I go ahead and throw down that spine, another spine in production. These probes are a little bit outnumbered and really want to start a fight. They shouldn't want to fight. Look at what's back home for Ghostwalker. Literally nothing. Nothing. Zero things. If I send 12 lings up here, I just win. Although we are starting to wall off a little bit. Overlord tried to scout across. Does get murdered here. This cannon is going for my natural base, which is bad news bears. Spine crawler on the high ground doing work. on this cannon. Can it reach the other cannon? I'm convinced it cannot. I'm trying to save my hatchery in case you hadn't noticed. Ooh, probe goes down too. Force, that's how many, 2 probes have gone down. That does force Ghostwalker, who sneaks up here. He is not content. He is not content with shutting down my front door and killing my natural base. I'm trying to find a place where I can actually reach this cannon from the high ground, but it's not working. It is not working at all. My natural base is going to die. Drones running. Some of them actually make it home. And I'm trying to see, will this, nope, that won't hit it. Will this one hit it? Broodlings did some good additional work there. And yes, finally does hit that sucker. Not after he kills all my larvas, though. Well, that larva survived, never mind. All right, so I creep spread down the ramp, making further things not happen. But guess what? Guess what's up here? Hey! Photon cannons! He's cannon rushing me to the north. Ugh. Creep spread down the ramp a little tiny bit here. And where do I see this? I think I see it now. Hey, Falcon, when do you see this is happening? This is not going well for me. La 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 la. Trying to save that spine crawler. Try to lend the DPS there. One spine goes down. Oh, it's not until I get that alert. And I'm like, what? Cannon's here? What is going on? And I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer for you at all. All right, so we're 1 base to 1 base. He really is committing. He's throwing up 2 gateways, another cannon. I'm throwing up spine crawlers, trying to just make it hard for the cannons to further encroach on this position, or cannons. I mean, they can't further encroach because they're on the edge of the creep, but maybe over here. I'm worried about that happening. So I throw a spine down in that location. And I did go for a lair. I recognized, okay, at some point I need lair technology if I'm going to win this game. Look at all the stuff that is present here from Ghostwalker. He has nothing back home. He has a gateway back home. 1 gateway, and guess what I'm doing? Nidus! It's Nidus time! This is just like when Protoss used to 3 pylon block the bottom of your ramp, and then you would Nidus them, except then they realized the only thing you could do was Nidus them, and they started preparing for it. It was, not a good time. Not a good time in the Falcon laddering career, I can tell you that much. Back in the 2015s. All right, so multiple spines are up. I recognize, I see there are gateways. I see there are gateways, and I say, all right, zealots are coming. Spine crawlers are a pretty good answer to those suckers. And if they wait long enough, these spines might actually pop before they show up. So there's 1 spine. And here come the queens. Help! Help! Keep the spine crawler alive! Hey, there you go. They're actually, never mind, dead there. Ring around the rosy here, giving some time for the other spines to pop. And there they are. Pop, 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 pop. Nidus Worm is full of Zerglings. And back home, Ghostwalker is unconcerned. He feels like, I've got this in the bag. I've got the Zerg player on 1 base. I've got him to the north. Got him to the south. I am expanding down here, but also Nidusing over in his main, which he sees. Let's see if he sees this.
Your probes are under attack.
That spine crawler took down a probe. He hears the sound, says, wait, where? Where's there a Nidus? Oh, right. There's your good game. Here's a Nidus. I bring the queens down too. It's not enough. Haha, Ghostwalker has a good attitude about this, actually. Kind of proud of him. And that's it. I mean, the probes head on down, but it was so fast, so I forgot. I forgot about Nidus possibility. Yeah, that'll do it. He's trying to bring his zealots on home to help, but a little too slow. He decides just to leave the game. His buildings were going to be dead by the time they showed up anyway. Crazy cheesy game where the Protoss player overextended, and it didn't go his way. All right, cool. We got one more FalconPaladin game coming at you here in this this best of for your Wednesday, and we'll be right back. Final game of the FalconPaladin Best of Hour will be between FalconPally and Rav here on Blue Shift, the Ladder Edition. Bottom left-hand corner, the Red Terran player Rav from HOV, which can stand for High Occupancy Vehicle, which would be weird. And in the bottom right-hand, or top right-hand corner, it's the blue Zerg player, FalconPally, with the spinning logo. Yeah, the Chiefs was played a while ago, before we had the spinning logo available, but there it is. Look at it, all its majesty. is so majestic. I like it. I like it quite a bit. Excellent job by Alchemy and Giraffe for getting it in there and suggesting kind of some different things back and forth. All right, so ZVT action. I played this one just on Sunday, so this is a fairly new replay. And I had a bit of a revelation. Well, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that when we get there. But for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and come down and hatch first. I'm also drone scouting. I just really worry about proxies. And if you scout them, you basically win. So here I come. I see, not that at all. Brax is at home. The refinery is here. So nope, no crazy aggression here at all. Rav is playing pretty darn standard as it is. Extractor there, 200 minerals present, and it is time for a spawning pool. Oh wait, just kidding, that's Rav. Rav has 200 minerals present. I have almost 200 minerals present. Now I do have 200 minerals present, and there it goes. Blah, 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 blah. So I tried to do some harassment on the building of the space. At least force another SCV to come off the line and do nothing for a little bit. It's not a bad thing. I just like kind of putting some early pressure on the Terran to make them do something other than just what they're used to doing. Although at this point, getting kind of harassed building that barracks is probably just a thing. All right, it is a Reaper on the way here for Rav. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Reaper name list. This Reaper's name is Ash Ketchum. This 10-year-old Pokemon trainer who claimed he was the very best, like no one ever was, is revealed that this child was actually 20 years old. For the crime of sleeping in tents with 10-year-old girls and playing with Pokeballs, Ash's Pokemon journey ended. Now he has to become the champion on the battlefield with only a supply of electrodes that only know self-destruct. Wow, that's what it is. He's throwing Pokemon out and they're exploding. Genius. Genius here out of whoever wrote that Reaper name. That was great. Okay, so hopping on up. I've got 4 Lings in production. I've got 2 Queens. This is basically TLO right here. Yeah, I know how to play early ZVT. Thanks very much. Get back on the creep, stupids. They do get back on the creep. This drone is trying to throw in at third base and does manage to get it. Oh, can't believe that worked. That should not have worked. That was a close deal. That helped immensely towards the mid game here that third base existed. All right, speed is on the way, running on in with our Reaper buddy. And at this point, I'm like, all right, I got slow Lings and I got Queens, and I think I can box him in a little bit. He tries the juke, but no, not going to happen. Sorry, man. Sorry, Ash. He dead, and he falls off that cliff into the expanse of nothingness. All right, so natural base done here for Rav. He's building a factory. He's going ahead and getting a reactor on that factory. Third base running for me. Going for a Baneling nest just because I am worried about early attacks. Getting a lot of success against me. I'm thinking about a Baneling bust possibly, as this front door is not very protected at all, as it turns out. Slings over here just kind of hanging out, not doing anything. You really should be scouting, Zerglings. I do like that I'm high ground here, scouting the natural base that it exists. I've got an Overlord moving in at about the 4-minute mark. It's a little bit early, but getting an idea of what your opponent is working for will work around this stage no matter what. So I see barracks, 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 factory, and I say, okay, so this is definitely going to be bio play. Banelings are going to be viable. I really don't have any questions about that. Excuse me. And I decide maybe it's time to get on out of here too. So I decide to hoof it out of the main base. But guess what? Marines saw me. Marines saw what was happening, and they're going to try to kill this Silverlord before he can escape. Which seems a little mean, but that's what the StarCraft is. It's mean sometimes. And can he make it out? No! So close, though. So close. Not supply block, because I made some Overlords in prediction for losing that Overlord. Sitting on 29 to 32 workers right now, throwing up Spore Crawlers in both of my bases. I'm recognizing the potential of a bit of a Marine drop here with Starport Medevac support, obviously. So I want those to help with the Medevacs. And I'm droning up a little bit here, too, spreading creep between both of the bases. And so far, so good. About 450 or so. Generally, those attacks will come around 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So I'm watching the clock, and I'm saying, okay, can I fit another round of drones? I think I can. So I fit a round of 14 drones in right now. Trying to go ahead and make sure I have a great economy into the mid-game. Doing a much better job droning than I have previously in other games here. And honestly, it helped a little bit as there were no Hellion attacks. Hellion attacks have really thrown me off my game from time to time. But fully saturating that natural base. The third base is looking pretty healthy too. 41 to 38 total harvesters, making a couple Zerglings and going for a lair here too. Overlord doesn't see anybody moving up this way, and this guy too is hanging out on that left side. There's a quick scan. He scans the natural base. He's a handful of Zerglings, and that's about it, and says, all right, so maybe we got this thing under cover here. I make 20 Zerglings in preparation for the drop I'm sure is coming at about 5.5 minutes, and there's not, as you can see, all the red is over here. Definitely not here yet. The timings are a little bit late for Rav, but that's to be expected in the Diamond 3 level. It's not, that drop timing can't always be super duper incredible. I am spreading creep fairly well across this front path, across the right path too. I need a tumor to go on this left side, but it's not. It is not happening. I'm not sure what this SCV is trying to do. He got stuck, I think, outside building the supply depot, and he wants to get back inside, but he can't. He is not allowed. All right, so Terran player, he's just basically going for a bigger drop with tanks and marauders, which is why he's late on that one. I start to saturate my extractors here. I am, taking extractors on my main and my natural base. 3 bases, pretty healthy right now. 38 to 39 harvesters, 11 more drones in production. Creep spread continuing to happen fairly well here. Again, across the middle. I'm recognizing that seeing when an attack is coming allows you to make stuff that you need to defend the attack when it actually gets here. So I decided to go for a Spire. Now, I have tried Roach Ravager against Terran, tried against Protoss too, and I just, especially against Terran, I just don't feel like I'm that great with it. Roaches, I feel, suck really heavily against both Marauders and tanks, which we do see our opponent going for here, whereas Lings and Banelings and Mutalisks better against those units. So I decided to go for a Ling Bane style here. I've got some Banelings, got a whole bunch of Lings. My army supply is looking okay compared to my opponent, 2,900 to 2,900, fairly even, which is where you want to be. And check this out, it's a 4 medevac drop at about 7 minutes with Marauders, Marines, and tanks heading on up this way, strangely enough. 52 to 41 harvesters, I have that lead. I really should try to expand at about this stage of the game, and I do. About 7.5 minutes, that base is going in. I'm like, well, if my opponent's going to leave me alone, let's just macro up and be real scary. So we land here, set up the tanks in siege mode. I do a pretty good job pulling the drones. Here come the Lings, though. And friendly fire actually hurting a lot of these guys. Banelings getting on top of the army here as well. A tank goes down. And all that's left here are a couple of Marauders and a Marine and a tank. So defended pretty darn well there. How many drones got killed? 8? 8 drones have gone down. A medevac does get picked off, and all that's left here is a medevac with a tank. And I'm not quite sure that's the case. So I'm going to go ahead, make some more Zerglings, make sure that he's not pulling on up into the main base, but he's not. He's just unloading out here with the tank, who does have 13 kills, mind him, which is pretty darn good. And creep thread continuing. 4th base is going to land here, too. Finally got some tumors along this left side, and Rav is not expanding. Rav needs a 3rd base. He is building it here inside the main, which is something we've seen from time to time, and my first Mutalisks are in production here. Now, I can actually get some stuff done in these mineral lines with these Mutas, but I'm a little bit afraid of another attack coming in. I want to make sure I can pick off the medevacs if they show up, so I'm playing more defensively than I need to, which is actually a bit of a revelation here. The scan does see the Lings and the Banelings. Hey, guess who doesn't have speed? The Banelings at this stage. I'm pretty sure they do, but no, I never got that upgrade. Don't mind me. Creep spreading up the middle. I thought I'd be able to get up this ramp, but no, I'm not. It's not a ramp, it's actually a cliff. Couldn't tell that in the game. A little bit stressed there. 63 to 42 harvesters. I'm looking really good. On the income level, I'm saturating my 4th base almost immediately upon completion. Throwing down double extractors here too. Feeling very confident that my creep spread will let me know if there's an attack coming up this way, and I should be able to respond to it. Am I going to go ahead and get upgrades? I'm working on upgrades on all 3 of my main units. What a miracle. What a miracle this is for sure. But 3rd base heavily saturating now for Rav. He's got a whole bunch of tanks. Tank Marine with +1/+1 and combat shield and stim and medevac support. It's a pretty intimidating force. However, Baneling here with +1/+1 and some Muta support is going to be pretty good as well. 114 to 120 supply, working in an infestation pit. I'm not sure if I want to go for ultras eventually, but I do know I want to get further upgrades for my guys. So an infestation pit is going to be really useful there. So here comes the push. Feeling a little bit, it's like, where'd this, tried to push up there and didn't work. Didn't work at all. Alright, so I'm making 14 Banelings as soon as this happens, recognizing, hey, it's time. It is now or never. Does clear out some creep, waiting for reinforcing units to come in here. +1/+1 is done for these guys. They are looking pretty scary. 12 more Lings in production. That +1/+1 is not done yet. Rav is being a little bit circumspect here, waiting for additional units to come in, pushing that creep back, and just waiting, again, possibly for upgrades to finish. Maybe he wants that +2 attack to get done before he moves in, and it's very possible. It's very possible indeed here. Expanding to a 4th base now is Rav, looking great economically that way. My Muta count is currently an anemic 6, but there are 6 more on the way, and it's 64 to 51 harvesters. Army count is about 5,000 to 5,000, so we're pretty close. We are pretty close that way. It really just comes down to the tanks and what they can do, and the Marauders and what they can do as well. So this tank's still been over here for a while. Did he heal that up and then leave it there? That's weird. That tank was super injured for a while. I'm not sure what that was all about. All right, so creep spread looking okay. He has killed a couple tumors, ended a couple creep tumor lines there. Trying to spread. What are you trying to do? Oh, trying to put a tumor there. But no, that was not going to happen at all. Setting up the tanks a little bit far away from the objective is our Terran player Rav, but I'm setting up. I got my Banes, got my Lings. He's on the creep. And here we go. Lings wrapping around the backside here. The Banelings crashing on in. Doing a great job on all of that bio. And suddenly all that's left here are these Mutas and these tanks. So the tanks get picked off. A couple Marines remaining. Not going to be enough against this group of Mutalisks. There are 14 of them. Where the heck? Oh, the rest are back here. It'd be nice if this tank, this Mutaflock was bigger, but whatever. So just absolutely handle that particular group. And I recognize, oh, Liberators, bad. Get out. It's splash. Run. One Mutalisk does die, but I do manage to get the heck out of there. And tissue regeneration means they will regenerate their health fairly well. Respreading the creep down back this way, which is a huge deal for me. 4th base happening. I'm recognizing I'm a little bit larva starved. My injects have not been as good as they need to be, especially during tense situations like that. So here come my Lings. They've got the +1/+1. Here come my Mutas. They don't know about this base. Do they seriously? All right, so Lings on top of this. It's basically a Marine tank army with +1/+1, and it's working pretty well. The Mutas show up and say, hey, Liberators, stop shooting my Zerglings. And I think it's enough. I think it's enough Mutas to finish this off until more reinforcing Marines show up, and the Mutas decide not to super engage there, as they are +2/+2 dudes, and they are pretty scary. Working on +2/+2 myself, working on +1 Flyer Carapace, continuing to spread that creep. Continuing to make Zerglings, spending my money fairly well. It's not getting crazy high like it has in the past. And just enjoying the income off of 4 bases here. However, 4 bases done for Rav too. And I'm fairly sure I never scout this at all. Which is kind of embarrassing. But creep spread's good. Look how good my creep spread continues to be. Yeah, that's some amazing stuff. My whole side of the map is blue right now. Hive is done. Haven't really done anything with it. I don't think it really makes a lot of sense to go for Ultras with that many tanks and that many Marauders as we've been seeing here. Liberators too, so I decided not to go for those and just kind of stick with what brung me here. I still don't have speed, you guys. I make 33 Banelings, which is a lot of Banelings, and none of them have speed! I don't know what to tell you. Creep spread happening. These guys trying to go back home. Flying over the creep in the process. 30 more Lings in production here. I'm trying to max out. And we decided to go for it. We decided to go for it again. Waiting for that +2/+2 might have been a good thing. Oh, okay. All right. Just kidding. Just kidding. Let's not attack into there. Let's make him move out. Let's make sure that those tanks aren't sieged up. At least I didn't lose a ton of Banelings in the process. Mutaflock looking pretty fantastic here. We've got 1-1 on those guys. 2-2 is going to complete like right now, which I should have waited for, but those Lings are pretty easily replaceable at this stage of the game. Look at that money. 200 minerals right now. 200 at the 14-minute mark. That's insanity for me. I'm babysitting these creep tumors as they continue to push across. I still don't know about this 4th. Liberators head north to shut down everything, as I did expand up north and down here a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th and 6th bases are done. Liberators, I saw them fly up across the creep, and I was like, well, maybe my Mutas can handle this. And then, this is a really stupid idea, by the way. How many of these guys survived this attack? Actually, all of them. That was pretty good. I didn't let any of them die, which is great. The Liberators then say, oh, hold on. Hey, look, a whole lot of Lings and Banes. All right, time to go. Time to go down south. 200 to 188 supply right now. Plus 3 infantry armor is on the way. The Marines already have plus 3 attack. They are looking pretty good. It's pretty good Sim City down here inside Terranville. He decides it's time to move on out. Let's do this thing. We've got Liberators for the Mutas. We've got Marines, a whole ton of tanks with plus 2 attack, mind you. And I'm like, all right, here goes nothing. Lings on top of everything. Banelings finally having speed, just crushing through this ground army. Mutalisk count is high enough that the Liberators don't actually matter. And suddenly, once again, all that's left is tanks. And tanks and tanks and tanks. And yeah, it's 151 to 85 supply. And you're making 3 Marines at a time, but that's it. Rav Rage quits. And Falcon's your winner in 16 minutes. So, yeah, it just shows the importance of splitting. Diamond 3 isn't really full of players who are great at splitting their Marines in a situation where you just have a whole ton of Banelings running into your front. Euthermal, we saw in the games on Monday. If you didn't watch those, Snoot versus Euthermal, his splits really won him those games against the Ling Bling Muta style from Snoot. Anyway, I was pretty proud about that one. Again, money spend was good up until the end there. I have like 1,000 minerals on, or 1,000 minerals and 1,000 gas, but that's okay. We'll get better. We'll get better at that. 15,000 resources lost for Falcon and 18,000 lost for Rav. And only 13 mutas died, which is not too shabby. Got 23 there. How many Banelings? Only 14 Banelings died. That's pretty good. That's an indication a lot of them exploded on what they wanted to kill. Whew. All right, that's going to be it from me. This has been FalconPaladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, a very special FalconPaladin hour, well, best of hour. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.